So yeah, I got Cuffy right here, man, St. Louis legend.
Hey, you know, a lot of people, man, is thinking that this thing is made up, or this thing is fake, or that I have an axe to grind, you feel me?
Right.
But I'm in here with a 27-year sentence.
But I never folded, never told, never will. Death before dishonor, always with me.
Okay, when you heard that he flipped and started to actually testify against everybody, what'd you think?
He wasn't the only one. Him and his brother.
Okay.
So, I mean, what you asked me, how did I feel about it?
Yeah.
You're right.
So we gotta talk about this whole mess with the Big Meech snitching rumors, cause 50 Cent just can't let it go. The drama's hit a whole new level after this audio leak came out. In it, Big Meech is being called out about these allegations during a phone convo with 42 Doug and Cuffy cousin, Bebe. Now, if you haven't been paying attention, 50 Cent's been saying Big Meech snitched on his old homie Cuffy to get a lighter sentence. But here's where things get real messy. Fans are saying that this new evidence 50's bragging about doesn't actually prove Meech ratted on nobody. On top of that, Cuffy himself stepped up and said 50 Cent already knew Big Meech's associate, Tammy Cowan, was an informant way before he even started working with her on the BMF show. So if 50 was cool working with an informant, why is he suddenly acting like he's Sherlock Holmes now? Is he really that pressed because Big Meech snapped a pic with Rick Ross? This is where fans are saying that all this drama ain't really about snitching or the street code. If it was, 50 wouldn't have ever teamed up with Tammy in the first place. But what exactly did Big Meech say in this leaked audio about these snitching rumors? Is 50 Cent really just reaching for anything at this point? And what's he trying to get out of all these accusations against Meech? Let's break it all down. Y'all who might not know who Cuffy is, his real name is Dion Lamoni Gatling. He's an incarcerated kingpin hailing from St. Louis and used to run with Big Meech and the BMF crew. Cuffy was all the way in the game, spending over 20 years hustling with BMF. Word on the street is he's the first one to hand Big Meech a cool $1 million in cash. But it wasn't just business for them. They built a real bond, becoming tight like family and breaking bread together at each other's family dinners.
Listen, man, we go back to we were really damn, we were children for real, but we were young men. We were 22, 23 years of age. I'm 56 years old right now, and so is Big Meech. The Meech is Flannery. So our relationship go back over 30 years. You feel me? So I know we got a lot of niggas that's now jumping on their bandwagon and doing whatever they do. I'm a day one nigga. And I wanna clear up something. A question you posed to me last time was that people don't believe that I made Big Meech. I've never said I've made Big Meech. Let's make it clear. What I'm saying is that Big Meech has always been a money getter, but there's levels to this.
This call is from a federal prison.
He never seen $1 million until he met me. He never seen $1 million until he met me.
But things went sideways in 2015 when Cuffy and his crew got hit with an indictment, all because of some DEA wiretaps from back in 2012. The feds were really going after a Mexican cartel connect named Miguel Suarez, but somehow Cuffy's name popped up in a tapped call between Big Meech and someone known as CS1, short for Confidential Source Number 1. It's now believed that CS1 was a woman named Tammy Cowan, who's also one of the producers on 50 Cent's BMF show. That's when Cuffy started putting the pieces together and figured out Tammy was working as an informant. He even got on a recorded phone call from prison where he had some strong words about Big Meech and Tammy allegedly setting him up. Oh, and Cuffy didn't hold back on 50 Cent either, calling him out for doing business with a known government informant.
This is what Meech, Big Meech, the Meech is Flannery, known as Big Meech, and Tammy Cowan, known in the paperwork as CS1. CS1 stands for confidential source number 1. Whenever there's a 1 behind the CS, that's the person who started the case.
Okay. So that
when you see CS1, that's what it stands for. Confidential source number 1. And so that's how she became CEO of BMF Entertainment.
Okay.
So I want your audience to go to Georgia Secretary of State. Look up BMF Entertainment and see who's the CEO, a government informant. So the 50 Cent, you doing business with a government informant. You know it. I know it. Big Meech know it. This woman testified in a court of law that she became a DEA informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut. You feel me? It don't get any clearer.
Now, here's where the whole snitching drama and federal corruption really start to heat up. Tammy wasn't just snitching to the feds. Nah, she was allegedly having an affair with a DEA agent named Keith Kruger. This same agent later got exposed for some serious misconduct and had to plead the fifth when it came to court. Why? Well, because it came out that he allegedly handed over more than $200,000 in federal funds to Tammy, which she used for luxury trips and fancy dates. Cuffy claims he and his boy, Louis Burrell, MC, were about to make a big move together, but out of nowhere, Tammy backed out of the deal. According to Cuffy, she had other plans in mind. Instead of cutting them in on the money, she allegedly flipped on him, worked with the feds to get him locked up, snatched his whole script, and dipped off with the cash.
So in the course of me and Tammy discussing Meech's movie rights and me seeking out a deal for a movie and me providing a script for a movie, the DEA got wind that I was in contact with Tammy, and they turned the investigation toward me.
Got it.
So that's why Fidel Suarez's name is in the paperwork.
Okay, and that make a lot of sense. And I guess kind of going back to that previous conversation, you were working on this script with MC Hammer's brother, trying to place what they showing now almost on Stars.
There you go. We was going to do a motion picture. We had a deal on the table from Lionsgate Films. MC Hammer's brother name is Louis Burrell. This is my dad. It's my dad.
Fast forward to 2019, and Cuffy ended up pleading guilty, partly due to statements from his co-defendants, and got slapped with a 27-year sentence. But let's dive into this paperwork 50 Cent was talking about, claiming it shows Big Meech snitched on Cuffy. On February 25th, 50 posted a screenshot from 1090 Jake, a YouTuber who's known for deep diving into hip-hop culture and rap docs on his channel. End of sentence. The post included legal docs that supposedly link Meech's longtime associate, Tammy Cowan, to the federal investigation that led to Cuffy's conviction. In the caption, 50 wrote, "Tammy Cowan, the truth and nothing but the truth coming soon. 1090 Jake tomorrow. Got that paperwork. You know the vibes." In that paperwork, Cuffy is listed as a member of Saint Louis BMF and an associate of Flannery, aka Big Meech, and had deep connections with several BMF members. The docs seem to suggest that Big Meech set up plays with Cuffy and other associates through a confidential source, CS1, that was supposed to help him get out of jail. According to the paperwork, CS1 first became an informant for the DEA in Atlanta back in 2009, giving info in a money laundering case that led to the conviction of a man named Terry White. The docs go on to explain that although CS1 wasn't initially a paid informant, CS1's handler, Agent Harvey, put CS1 up for an award based on the value of property seized from White, thanks to the info they provided. The paperwork also highlights how Tammy, or CS1, eventually became a paid DEA informant, which apparently broke DEA policy after she and Agent Cromer got too close and developed an intimate personal relationship. The document then dives into Tammy's connection to Big Meech. It reveals that when she became a DEA informant, she was already a longtime friend and associate of Demetrius Flannery, Big Meech, and even had his power of attorney and life rights, meaning she had the rights to tell and profit off his life story. When it comes to Cuffy, the documents say that Tammy knew full well that Cuffy and Big Meech were tight. At first, her talks with Cuffy were mainly about business and Big Meech's life rights. states. But then, the paperwork says that at some point, Flannery asked CS1 to link Cuffy, aka Gatling, with Suarez. And that's when the situation shifted to narcotics. This part is what many people believe proves that Big Meech conspired with Tammy to set up Cuffy, possibly in exchange for a reduced sentence. Now, even though Tammy denied telling DEA agents that Big Meech had directed her to connect Cuffy and Suarez, the testimonies from other DEA agents didn't line up with her version. According to the documents, T.F.O. Lang, a DEA agent from St. Louis who interviewed Tammy, credibly testified that during his debrief of her on August 6, 2012, she admitted to helping connect Cuffy and Suarez at Big Meech's request. On top of that, the docs mentioned that when Tammy spoke with Big Meech, he allegedly told her that he didn't want his name dragged into this mess. Now, the paperwork also says that while Tammy never signed or swore to the draft affidavit, she did pass along some of the details from the unsworn affidavit to Cuffy's former lawyer, DEA agents, and prosecutors from the U.S. Attorney's Office in St. Louis. But here's where things start to get a little cloudy. The documents show that Tammy outright denied the claims that Big Meech set up the deal between Cuffy and Suarez. Tammy claimed that Agent Cromer was the one who brought Big Meech into the mix, saying he was jealous of his relationship with her. And that's where things get confusing, because the paperwork doesn't make it clear if Big Meech actually conspired with Tammy to set Cuffy up for a reduced sentence. Technically, Big Meech never testified against anyone, but it's still unclear if he knew Tammy was passing info about Cuffy to the feds. That's why some fans are saying it's a stretch to call Big Meech a rat, because Tammy was already testifying no matter what. Since it doesn't seem like Big Meech was actively pushing Tammy to cooperate, he just got lucky and benefited from the situation. Doesn't mean he's a snitch. But on the flip side, some people are convinced that Big Meech was behind the whole thing, believing he knew Tammy was an informant and had her go after Cuffy. To add fuel to the fire, there's now an audio floating around of a conversation between Big Meech and Detroit rapper 42 Dugg, where Meech seems to get confronted about the snitching rumors. This came out just days after 50 Cent called out 42 Dugg for allegedly giving Big Meech $100,000. 50 wrote, "You made a mistake giving Screech $100,000. You could have given that to your friends. You always been hard-headed. What the F?" Although 50 quickly deleted the post, 42 Dugg fired back just as fast on his Instagram stories, telling 50 to either show proof that Big Meech snitched or to keep quiet. 42 Dugg wrote, "Can't no one convince me to go against Detroit. Either show me Big Bro as a rat or shut the f up talking to me." Now, regarding the leaked audio of Big Meech talking to 42 Dugg, it's unclear who recorded the conversation, but apparently it's a discussion between Meech, 42 Dugg, and Cuffy's cousin, Bebe, where they talk about the snitching allegations against Meech.
Stop playing games, bro. Man, you talking out the side of your... You talking out the side of your mouth. Evidently, you don't understand paperwork. If you got the paperwork that comes session, then you should be able to read the paperwork and read between the lines, and I ain't did nothing wrong to put this wrong with you. Why did you never sign the affidavit? I ain't got it. I ain't owe you no explanation. Hey, cool.
Now, the audio isn't super clear, but one thing you can hear is Bebe asking Meech about an affidavit. Meech responds saying, "I don't owe you no explanation." That's when Bebe comes back with, "You owe the whole streets an explanation." And that's the part that's got some folks thinking maybe Big Meech made some kind of deal while in prison to pass info to Tammy in exchange for a reduced sentence. But on the other hand, some fans are saying this audio doesn't really prove anything, and it just sounds like Bebe was trying to pressure Meech into admitting he's a snitch. Besides that, Cuffy is locked up for more than just narcotics, so even if there wasn't any alleged snitching or deals going down, he'd still be facing a long sentence. And this is something Brick Baby pointed out recently in an interview, where he clarified that Cuffy's time in prison is tied to a completely different case.
Didn't rat. You still have not proved that Big Meech ratted. You have not proved
They're
that
saying
Big
it's third-party
Meech
cooperation.
You still haven't proved that, because there was no time cut. There was, you said it was a downwards, all that stuff, whatever. I forgot the term that they used in order for the deal, but at the end of the day, Big Meech was an unindicted co-conspirator in that case, right? That means because Cuffy didn't buy those bricks and he did not ever make the play that Big Meech had put together, allegedly as a snitch, but he was a co-conspirator on the case, meaning that he was about to catch another case too over this mother.
Who, Meech?
Yeah, the play never happened. You get on the phone and say, hey man, there's something funny about this. I just ain't gonna go through with it. All right, bet. He didn't go to jail for that. Cuffy never went to jail for that. He goes to jail because his phone's tapping. They follow him around doing whatever he doing. They saying that the heat come from because Big Meech tried to put him. They started tapping everything and following him around full time after Big Meech and Tammy allegedly set him up, right? Yeah. So you already was on the phone with Big Meech while he's fighting this case or while he's in the penitentiary for this kingpin ass. Whatever y'all talk about, if it ever got beyond the guidelines of I love you, bro, I'm coming to see you, I need to cover you, I'll put a couple dollars on your book, the police got your tapped. Just because you get caught doing a play way here on the other side of the town, that don't mean that a motherfucker told on you because the case that where you didn't buy the bricks. Like, what sense do that make? Are you listening? Like, are you catching what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm not explaining it like kind of the right way, but like, you get caught up on a whole nother jug, bro, and they've been on your phone following you, bro. What the do it got to do with the jug that never happened?
Man, at this point, fans are straight up fed up with all the drama, and they're starting to turn on 50 Cent for being the one to keep stirring the pot. And for what? Just cause Big Meech took a picture with Rick Ross? Fans are looking at 50 sideways now, calling him immature, hypocritical, and straight up messy. Let's keep it real. This paperwork 50's showing off isn't even new. It's been out for a while, so why bring it up now? On top of that, Cuffy himself made it clear that 50 already knew Tammy Cowan was an informant when he started working with her on the BMF show. So, if 50 knew Tammy was allegedly helping Big Meech get a sentence reduction, why is he calling Meech a rat now? It's starting to look funny in the light because 50 was cool working with an informant and making money off Big Meech's life story until Meech linked up with Rick Ross. That's why people are calling 50 a sucker for creating all this mess. It's looking like this isn't about principles or snitching at all. It's about 50's ego and his industry beef. So what's your take on this? Do you think 50's exposing the truth? Or is he just being petty over some personal grudge? Do you think any of this would have even come up if Meech never took that picture with Rick Ross? Drop your thoughts in the comments and make sure to stick around for the next video.